Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're unrolling a topic that might seem super specific.
Yeah, niche maybe.
Exactly, niche. But for big projects, it turns out it's an absolute deal breaker. Wallpaper color consistency. We're digging into insights from a guide called Stock Wallpaper Color Surprises, Batch Matching Guide for Pros from RunpWell Decor.
Interesting source.
Right. And our mission today is really to understand why this seemingly small aesthetic thing can actually snowball into huge operational, financial, even reputational problems.
Especially in those professional B2B settings.
Exactly. So let's maybe start there. What exactly is batch color variation in wallpaper?
Right.
And why does it even happen? It feels like something that should be, perfectly standardized.
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But it's actually quite intriguing how these really small differences, you probably wouldn't even see them on a single roll, become glaringly obvious when you put rolls from different production batches side by side on a wall.
Okay, so like stripes you didn't expect.
Precisely. Visible stripes or bands. And these variations, they stem from a surprisingly wide range of root causes.
Like what, for instance?
Well, for one, you've got subtle shifts in the manufacturing equipment itself. Things like tiny changes in temperature control, or maybe the thickness of the coating being applied, or even the speed settings during the printing process. Any of those can lead to noticeable hue inconsistencies, maybe uneven brightness.
So it's not just the recipe, it's the actual cooking process, if you will, being slightly off each time.
That's a great analogy, yeah. And beyond the machinery, you also have variations in the raw materials.
Oh, okay.
The base paper itself or the PVC film they use, even the ink pigments, they can differ just slightly from one batch of materials to the next.
Wow.
And that causes inconsistencies even within what's supposed to be the exact same product line.
Okay, so equipment and materials. What else?
Then there's inventory aging, wallpaper that sits in a warehouse for too long.
Right.
It might oxidize slightly or get moisture damage or even just UV discoloration from lighting. And that causes a distinct color shift over time.
So even wallpaper has a shelf life, kind of. That's wild. I never would have thought of that affecting the final look.
It definitely can. And timing is another big one. Long production intervals.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if a client places an initial order and then weeks or maybe months later, they need more for the same project.
A reorder, yeah.
Exactly. The production settings back at the factory, or maybe even the precise chemical formulas for the inks, might have subtly changed in the interim.
Ah, so the new rolls might not perfectly match the old ones.
Bingo. You get a visible mismatch between adjacent areas. It's a classic problem.
Okay. Any other pitfalls?
Yeah, a couple more common ones. There's the sample versus mass production mismatch.
How does that work?
The settings used to create a small sample for client approval might not perfectly replicate the conditions for the full-scale production run.
So what the client signed off on isn't quite what they get in bulk.
Potentially yes, leading to disappointment or even rejection. And finally, believe it or not, some places still do manual ink adjustments on site during production.
Really? By eye.
It introduces subjectivity, you know? And that can really undermine the overall batch consistency when the final product is delivered.
Okay, so we've covered why these variations creep in. But let's talk about the stakes. Why is this such a big deal for, say, a luxury hotel or a big retail chain? It sounds like more than just aesthetics.
Oh, absolutely. When you zoom out to the bigger picture, in these professional environments, a visible color band on a wall, it's not just an oops.
Right.
It escalates very quickly into a significant operational nightmare, the most immediate risk. Failed visual inspection leads directly to failed project handover.
Ouch. So the client just says, nope, fix it.
Pretty much. Imagine a brand new luxury hotel, millions spent, ready for the grand opening, and there's a visible color stripe on a main lobby wall.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's not just not good, it can literally trigger a failed handover. The whole project can grind to a halt until it's rectified.
Wow. Okay, so that's an immediate concrete problem. What are the knock-on effects?
Well, a failed handover almost inevitably means costly rework. And replacing wallpaper isn't simple.
No, I bet not.
You've got significant labor costs, you waste all that material, and crucially, you have expensive downtime for that space. All of that hammers the project budget.
Right. And delays, too, presumably.
Huge delays. These color disputes can completely throw off project milestones. You miss deadlines, potentially breach contracts. It gets messy and expensive fast.
And beyond the immediate financial pain and the schedule chaos, There's a longer-term hit, too, isn't there?
Without a doubt, reputation damage.
Mm-hmm.
In today's world, everything's connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just one negative social media post showing inconsistent wallpaper in a high-profile hotel or store.
Viral nightmare potential.
Exactly. Or even just one unhappy corporate client complaining about visible flaws. It can seriously undermine a brand's credibility, erodes trust, it impacts future business.
Okay, I'm convinced. It's serious. So, for you listening, if you're managing a project and you absolutely need to avoid these color surprises, what can you actually do?
Ah.
The source had some practical tips.
Yeah, this is where being proactive really pays off. The guide lays out some clear preventative steps. The most fundamental one: order all the wallpaper you need at once,
All of it. Up front.
if you possibly can. Confirm your total square footage or roll count early in the project planning. Then, when you place the order, explicitly request that all rolls come from the exact same production batch.
Just doing that, consolidating the order, pretty much guarantee it's all from one run.
It's the single best way to ensure it, yes. Then, when the rolls arrive on site,
Check the labels.
absolutely critical, check the batch numbers on the packaging, visually inspect every single roll. And the golden rule: never, ever mix rolls with different batch numbers within the same visual area or room.
Got it. Don't mix batches. What else?
Pre-test samples before you start slapping it up on prime walls.
No.
Do some mock-ups, maybe in a less critical area, like a closet, or even just on some spare boards. It helps you proactively spot any visible color shifts before it becomes a massive problem. It's your early warning system.
Smart. Like a test batch for paint.
Yeah.
But what if you know the project schedule's really long? Phased construction, maybe? You might have to order in stages.
That's a tough scenario, and honestly, you should try to avoid split-phase orders if at all possible, precisely because of this risk.
But if you can't avoid it,
Then it demands really, really proactive coordination with your supplier. You need to communicate clearly about the phasing and the absolute need for batch consistency across the orders.
so flag it way in advance.
Way in advance, because otherwise, long intervals between orders almost guarantee you'll end up with mixed batches. Meticulous planning and constant communication are key there.
Okay, so vigilance on the client and installer side is key. But are manufacturers doing anything? I mean, are they stepping up with technology to tackle this? Our source, RunpWell Decor, mentioned their approach.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty fascinating to see how advanced tech is being used now to nail color precision right at the source. Companies like RunpWell, they're integrating some quite sophisticated systems.
Like what kind of systems?
Well, they mentioned proprietary technologies. One is called their No-Fade XUV color consistency system.
Catchy name.
It is. And apparently it aims for over 95% batch match accuracy, which they say significantly beats typical industry standards.
95% plus.
Oh, that's pretty good. It's a high bar, and it's not just the color itself, but also ensuring the patterns line up perfectly.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial too. You don't want seams looking off.
Exactly, the visual harmony. So they have another system, a Linux UP precision pattern alignment. It aims for accuracy down to plus or minus 1%.
Tiny margin.
Very tiny, designed to make sure the design flows seamlessly from one roll to the next, and then to keep things stable during the actual manufacturing. They use AI-driven inline color calibration.
AI. In wallpaper manufacturing.
Yep. It provides real-time color matching with live feedback while the machines are running. The goal is continuous stability in the color output, roll after roll, batch after batch.
Wow. That sounds like a serious investment in technology. Do they back that up with, like, service guarantees?
They do, according to the source. They seem to understand the client-side pain points. They mention things like a 48-hour rapid sampling service,
That samples are good.
a 15-day custom production turnaround, a 30-day reliable delivery guarantee,
Okay, hitting deadlines.
and interestingly, zero MOQ, flexible manufacturing.
Zero MOQ. Minimum order quantity.
Right, no minimum order,
Right.
which is helpful for smaller custom jobs or maybe just needing a few extra rolls later without a huge commitment. It seems like a pretty comprehensive approach, trying to ease worries from start to finish.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. We've gone deep into the weeds of wallpaper batches. What's the big takeaway here for you listening, wanting to be well informed?
Well, I think when you connect it all, the CEO of RunpWell, Julie Lai, she puts it really succinctly in the article. She says, color consistency is not a detail, it's the deal breaker.
Not a detail, the deal breaker.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it highlights the difference between consumer and professional worlds, right? In your own home, Maybe a slight color mismatch is annoying, an aesthetic issue you might live with.
You might hide it behind furniture.
Exactly. But in B2B hotels, retail, offices, it's profoundly operational. It hits everything from project handover success to budgets to timelines and ultimately to client trust and the brand's reputation.
Mm.
So companies like this, their whole motto is effectively one order, one standard. It's about embedding that promise of consistency right through the whole process, planning, production, delivery.
It really drives home how, in professional fields, something that looks like a tiny aesthetic detail on the surface
Yeah.
is actually a fundamental pillar of project success and really business integrity.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's foundational.
And that is our deep dive into the surprisingly complex, high-stakes world of wallpaper color consistency.
Who knew wallpaper could be so dramatic?
Right. It really shows how a seemingly minor detail can make or break massive projects. We hope this gave you some, maybe some aha moments about the hidden complexities behind everyday things.
Hopefully.
So as you go about your day, maybe think about this. What are some other details in your field or maybe an area you're just curious about? Things that seem small, almost trivial. But underneath, they're actually the ultimate deal breakers. It's often those overlooked elements, isn't it, that really dictate success or failure.
Very true. The devil's always in the details.
Keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep digging into what truly makes things tick. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.